Clowns have always been a symbol of horror. Even though they're meant to be welcoming and friendly, something about them has just always been off-putting to many. Throughout the years, there have been tons and tons of scary stories revolving around clowns, but this movie does it a little bit different. Killer Klowns from Outer Space was made in 1988 by the Chiodo brothers. While the Chiodo brothers are not well known for movies of their own, they are responsible for making The Critters, Large Marge and Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and even the claymation sequences from Elf. It follows a quiet college town in California that becomes the center of a clown alien invasion. So far with this channel, I've been trying to focus on more obscure titles, but I thought it was time to look at something a little bit more well known. So if clowns, space, and super cool 80s practical effects piques your interest, I hope you'll stick around while I dive into it.
As you can see, my background's a little bit different today because I'm at the happiest place in the world, Hong Kong Disneyland. What better place to say thank you for getting me to 100 subscribers? I've been really appreciating all the comments, likes, and views, so please keep commenting and I promise I'll get around to all of those videos. In the meantime, I have some big things coming up for the month of October for Halloween, so please stay tuned and keep watching.
The movie opens with the title card accompanied by the movie's theme song. It's a regular old Friday night in a small college town, and everybody's out having fun. Of course, in classics 80s style, we see a bunch of college kids parked up on a hill being naughty. Here we meet the main couple from the movie, Mike and Debbie. An ice cream truck drives up to the makeout point and someone is yelling perverted jokes over the speakers. This truck is driven by the Terenzi brothers, who are actually Mike's best friends from school. They think a bunch of freaked out college kids is the perfect audience to sell their ice cream to. However, they are sorely mistaken as they're quickly shooed off by trash being thrown at them. As Debbie and Mike are laying in the car, they see a shooting star go by in the sky. Debbie wants to go check it out, but Mike's not interested in that. Eventually she wears him down and he agrees to go look into it. They aren't the only ones who catch this, as an old man named Gene Green and his dog Pooh Bear see it go by as well. He decides that he's gonna go pick up the falling meteor and sell it and get rich. He grabs a shovel and goes with his dog to check it out. However, he instead finds the circus. He loves the circus and wants to see if he can get some free tickets there. But when he goes up, he can't find the entrance. As he's looking for the entrance, a hole opens up in the tent and we see our first clown of the movie, Jumbo. Jumbo sticks a net out and scoops Pooh Bear into the tent. When old man Gene realizes his dog has been taken, he tries to punch a hole in the tent, but it's metal so his hand gets hurt. He says he'll tear this tent down and pulls on the strings, but they electrocute him. When Gene falls to the ground, he looks over to see Jumbo walk up, where he gets zapped by the pink beam of Jumbo's ray gun. Over at the police station, we see Officer Mooney, the crooked older cop, bringing in some college kids he found drinking wine. Of course, we can't have an 80s movie without college kids that look a million years old. Officer Dave, the younger cop, tries to tell him it's not that big of a deal, but he don't want to hear all that. The college kids try to talk their way out of it, but Mooney has a short temper. He's about to give them a two-piece combo before Dave stops him. He tells Mooney he's out of line, and if he's gonna book him, he needs to do it the right way. Back to Mike and Debbie, they finally make it to the tent, and Debbie is super freaked out. Even though it was her idea, she wants to leave, but Mike convinces her to check it out. When they get inside the tent, she's even more suspicious with how peculiar the inside looks. But Mike relaxes her with a joke and says it's the new wave of European circuses, the circus fantastique. He even pretends to be a circus showman, drawing her in and trying to get her to look around. They get to the end of the hallway and see 3 doors. They go through the middle door, and on the other side is a giant pit with a radiating electric orb. They quickly realize this is no circus and they go to leave. However, on their way out they hear someone coming, so they go through the other door on the left. In this room is a bunch of hanging cotton candy sacks, and Mike says this must be a cotton candy factory and this is where they hang it to dry. Bro, since when do you hang cotton candy to dry? Anyways, Debbie's obviously the only one here with sense, and she says that's ridiculous. She doesn't believe in UFOs, but if they do exist, they have to be in one right now. Mike tries to show her it's really cotton candy, but when he pulls it back, inside is a human body. They don't have much time to freak out because another clown, Rudy, walks in to hang up some more cotton candy. They hide while Rudy fiddles with the popcorn machine by the door. While they're hiding, Mike notices that inside one of the cotton candies is his friend Joe Lombardo. His startled gas alerts Rudy that they're there, so they make a book for it. Rudy grabs a popcorn blaster and follows after them. He shoots the popcorn blaster as they're running, and they make it out with only a little bit of popcorn on their clothes. I'm sure that's no big deal, right? Mike and Debbie take off into the woods, and Rudy comes out of the tent joined by another clown named Ears. They use the balloons to make a bloodhound that they use to track Mike and Debbie. The clowns follow Mike and Debbie in close pursuit, but Mike and Debbie make it to the car. Mike backs into the 2 clowns and knocks them off before he drives away. It seems like the coast is clear, but a clown with a giant yellow mohawk jumps on the car. He really wanted to get his spin-off, but he quickly realizes he's not that guy. He just falls off as they drive away. Debbie tells Mike to go to the police station because she knows someone there. They won't be safe for long though, because we see the clowns going into town guided by the town sign. The couple peel into the police station where they're greeted by Officer Dave, who came out to see what all the noise was. Debbie and Mike start telling Dave all the crazy stories about the clown things they saw, and Dave tells them to come inside so they can explain it thoroughly. We get a quick glimpse of Rudy walking down the street, and he pretends to be animatronic in front of a pharmacy. Inside the police station, Mike and Debbie are telling Dave everything that happened, but of course, he's having a hard time believing a circus spaceship full of cotton candy bodies and killer clowns. Mooney walks in on them explaining what happened, and he says,
Killer clowns from outer space. Holy shit.
Roll credits, guys. Peak cinema has been achieved. Mooney tells Dave it's a bunch of crap, but Dave says because there's dead bodies involved, he should at least hear them out. Mooney then realizes that Mike hangs out with those Terenzi brothers, so this whole clown thing must be one of their stupid stunts to sell ice cream. They leave to go check it out, and Mooney tells Dave, you can make a dummy out of yourself, but you can't make a dummy out of me. In the next scene, we see a guy walk up to a puppet show in a gazebo. The puppet show is about a boy puppet trying to force himself onto a girl puppet, but when he doesn't take no for an answer, the girl puppet blasts him with a ray gun. The guy thinks it's a pretty cool puppet show until the girl puppet points the gun at him and Spiky the clown stands up out of the booth. He shoots the guy with the ray gun and turns him into the cotton candy sacks we've been seeing throughout the movie. Back at the drugstore, the guy behind the counter is trying to tell Rudy to stop as he makes a mess out of the drugstore. He is going around knocking everything off the shelf, and we see he's made 2 people into cotton candy sacks. On the way to the spaceship, Dave tells Debbie he's going to drop her off at home. She says that's ridiculous and he can't tell her what to do. She doesn't have to listen to him anymore because he's not her boyfriend anymore. Love triangle alert. Dave tells her that's true, but it doesn't change how he feels. So she can either go home or he'll lock her up at the station to keep her safe. After that crazy drama bomb, the time to raid the town has begun. We see the clowns going door to door. They pretend to deliver pizza and cards to unsuspecting civilians. When they drop Debbie off, Mike walks her to her door. She tries to tell him that she'll follow behind them, but he tells her that's ridiculous. She just needs to stay safe at home and he'll come check on her when they're done. He gives her a kiss goodbye and Dave sees. He uses his ultimate alpha police powers to punk him out and make him sit in the back. We get another short glimpse of Shorty and Rudy continuing their devious licks in the pharmacy before we see Mike and Dave approaching where the spaceship should be. But when they get there, it's just a huge crater, and Dave decides Mike played a trick on him. And while I know there's not a spaceship there, there's a giant crater. Like, what else could have been there? Like, something had to be going on. Dave puts Mike in cuffs, saying he was just trying to cause problems before they go back to the car. At a biker bar, Shorty pulls up in style with his little toy-looking bike. All the bikers think it's hilarious, and one walks up to mess with him. He first asks if he can drive it, and Shorty shakes his head. He then asks if he can beep the horn, and Shorty nods, but instead of beeping the horn, he stomps on it and breaks it to pieces. Well, he messed with the wrong clown today, as Shorty jumps out of frame and comes back in wearing boxer gloves. Of course, the biker thinks it's a joke and says, "What are you gonna do, knock my block off?" before literally having his head punched off his shoulders. Jumbo goes over to Big Top Burger, the town's clown-themed burger restaurant. Convenient, right? He catches the attention of a little girl and tries to draw her out. Right before she goes outside, her mom catches her and tells her she needs to finish her food first. Mike and Dave drive back to the makeout point. Dave gets out of his car to look around and sees that one of the cars is covered in the cotton candy stuff. He opens the door and the inside is a pair of glasses that have been cracked. He lets Mike out and uncuffs him to show him the glasses, and Mike tells him those belong to Bob McGreedy, who was there in the beginning of the movie. That means they've got him and he's dead. Back at the station, crooked old Officer Mooney gets a call about some clowns. He still thinks it's a prank, so he hangs up the phone and pours himself a drink. Now that's what I call a good police officer. Drinking on the job, ignoring phone calls, just checking all the boxes. He gets another call from the man at the pharmacy and another call from someone else all about clowns. Instead of starting to take it seriously, he just decides the whole town is in on the prank. The clown Slim is driving an invisible car with his shoes as the headlights. He drives up to an unsuspecting driver and slams into him and finally runs him off the road on a bridge. Back at home, Debbie's getting in the shower, and we see the popcorn from off her clothes start crawling across the ground. While she's in the shower, the clothes hamper also starts shaking from the popcorn inside. Back at Big Top Burger, we see Jumbo sprinkle a handful of popcorn into the dumpster out back. The popcorn makes this kind of chirping sound when he puts it in. An employee goes to take the trash out, but when he goes back inside, he hears that chirping sound. He turns around and opens the trash can to see what it is and gets sucked inside. Mike and Dave are heading back to town, and Dave is planning to call the state police so they can test the cotton candy stuff in their lab. Slim walks up to a bunch of people waiting on a bus and starts making shadow puppets on the wall. He makes a bunny at first, which is mostly normal, but then he makes an elephant and Washington crossing the Delaware. Mike tries to get Dave to drop him off, but he says he needs him as a witness. They then come upon Slim making the shadow puppets, and he's making a dancing lady. Mike tells Dave to get out and shoot him, but Dave thinks they should watch. Then Slim makes a T-Rex and eats all the people. It's like he's holding them in his hand, and he goes to put them in his bag of popcorn. Dave's bright idea is to try and drive into him, but while he's driving, Slim jumps into the air and they crash into the wall instead. Dave tries to radio into Mooney, but Mooney still isn't buying it. Now he thinks that Dave's in on it too, and he's just trying to push him out of the force, so he cuts the radio off. Just then, they see the Terenzi brothers chasing their runaway ice cream truck. Mike tells Dave he'll go with the Terenzi brothers to warn the town about the clowns, and Dave will go back to the station. Mike catches up to the Terenzi brothers. Mike tries to tell them about the clowns, but they don't believe him. They only even agree to help because Mike tells them that Debbie has two beautiful roommates that love ice cream, so they think they can have a three-man. Over at the police station, the phones are ringing off the hook as people all over the town are getting murdered by the clowns. Mooney just keeps ignoring it as he leans back with a magazine and cigar to pass the night. Just then, Jumbo shuffles into the police station. He tells Jumbo he made a big mistake because he's in Mooney's territory now, but Jumbo just sprays him in the face with a gag flower. He goes to cuff him and says, "Normally I would read your rights, but here in Mooney's jail you have no rights." Mooney doesn't have Jumbo for long though, as he quickly slips out of the cuffs and shuffles back to where the cells are. Mooney goes back to the cells and the two college kids from earlier are asking to be let out. He tells them to shut up and he pulls his gun out on Jumbo. He walks up and tells him to show him his hands, and when he pulls up his arms, new hands pop out. When Jumbo goes into the cell, Mooney bashes him over the head with his baton, which causes his head to pop up and turn around. Jumbo couldn't care less as he pulls out a party blowout. He blows it and a hand comes out and slams Mooney against the cell, knocking him out. Jumbo turns to the two college kids and they say, "What are you in for?" And of course they will not be safe either. Debbie's out of the shower and dressed now, but instead of chirping, she hears laughing. Dave peels into the police station, and when he goes in the back, all the lights are off, but he can hear the phone ringing. When he picks it up, all he hears is clowns laughing. He looks down and sees giant red footprints leading into the back. When he gets to where the cells are, there's footprints all over the walls in all different colors. He goes into the cell where the college kids were, but all that's there is two cotton candy sacks. He goes over to one and peels it back and sees a dead body inside, and then another arm pops out of the one on top. He leaves the cell area, but when he gets to the main office, Jumbo is sitting there with Mooney on his lap like a puppet. Or I guess you could say like a dummy. Call back. Jumbo makes Mooney talk to scare Dave before pulling his bloody arm out of him and Mooney falls to the floor. Dave is shooting Jumbo, but Jumbo is just eating the bullets as he creeps closer. Dave finally locks in and shoots Jumbo right in the big red nose. This causes Jumbo to spin and explode, so Dave has finally found their weakness. Right as he explodes, the state police call into the station. They ask Dave about all these reports of killer clowns and he tells them what's happened and he's their backup right now. They say they're sending backup now. The Dumb 3 trio is driving through town and everything seems normal. They call over the speaker calling their own truck JoJo and ask if there's any space clowns up there because they're not taking it seriously. However, when they turn around the corner, they see total clown invasion. There's a giant truck sucking up the cocoons on the street. There's clowns walking up and down the street with ray guns in hand. We see someone try to make a breakout from under the car to get away, but he gets zapped and turned into cotton candy. Mike tells them to get out of there. They back out and quickly speed off to go find Debbie. Back to Debbie, she's finished showering and fully dressed now, but she hears the laughing. She opens her laundry hamper and out jump the two baby clown heads. It looks like little clown heads attached to extending spinal cords. She pushes the hamper over and leans back, but two more pop out of her medicine cabinet. She sprays those with hairspray, but one pops out of the toilet like a spooky dookie. She shoves her shower head in its mouth and puts her shower curtain over the laundry hamper to get out. In the living room, she hears Mike knocking on her door. But when she opens the door, it's Slim the Clown imitating Mike's voice. She tries to go out the window, but at the bottom are a gaggle of clowns dressed like firefighters holding a life net. She backs up right into Slim. Two more clowns join him and they zap Debbie. But this time, instead of turning into cotton candy, she gets put into a giant balloon. Mike and the brothers pull up just in time to see them getting away with Debbie in the balloon. They follow in close pursuit through the town and eventually they catch the attention of Dave, who is sitting on the road. Now the clowns, the ice cream truck, and the police car are all speeding through town. When the Terenzi brothers realize there's a police officer following them, they stomp on the brakes, causing a collision. Mike gets out and Dave asks him what's going on. He tells him the clowns have Debbie and they're trying to get to her. Dave grabs his shotgun and gets inside the car to go follow. They don't know where they went, but they realize that if they were a clown, they would hide at the amusement park, so that's where they go. Back at the amusement park, the clown car pulls up to the crazy house that's guarded by a security guard. He tells them they need to go, but he's not ready for the whole gang as they all get out of the car. They throw a barrage of pies at him, which melts him into a goop. Shorty tops him off with a cherry before they all enter the crazy house. Team Ice Cream pulls up right behind them and follows them into the crazy house. Dave tells them not to fool around and stick together as they walk through the crazy house. While they're trying to find Debbie, they talk about what's going on. They talk about the origin of these clowns. Where are they from? Why are they there? What even are they? Dave tells them one thing he does know is that they can kill them by shooting them in the nose. Dave tells them to stick together again right before the Terenzi brothers fall through the floor. They fall into a ball pit with two girl clowns with an inflating chest. The genius Paul asks, "Are you guys Debbie's roommates?" Mike and Dave have finally made it to the main part of the spaceship, so Mike leads them to the cotton candy room. When they get inside, they start looking around for Debbie, but they have to hide as Fatso the clown walks in. He pulls out the world's craziest bendy straw, pokes it into the sack, and starts drinking human juice. When he's finally had enough, he pulls it out, burps, and walks away, so Mike and Dave can keep looking for Debbie. Realizing they really do eat people causes Mike to freak out, but Dave tells him to pull it together so they can find Debbie. They finally find her balloon in the back, and Dave shoots it to pop it. They start leaving, but Dave says they need to look around for more survivors. That plan is cut short though as clowns come in, so they have to leave. They're running away from the clowns, and Dave is shooting them occasionally on their nose, popping them. They go down a pole, through moving doorways, in and out of a giant eel tunnel, and finally they get to a door. But when they open the door, there's another door, and another door, and another. The clowns are approaching and they're running out of time and Dave's out of ammo. Finally, Mike opens the last door and they crawl through. They barricade the door with the shotgun. It seems they've finally gotten to the center of the spaceship, and in no time at all, clowns appear out of the shadows and surround them. They try to climb up the tower they're on to save time, but the clowns are upon them. It looks like things are over for them right before the Terenzi brothers crash through the wall in their ice cream truck. When we see the Terenzi brothers, their clothes are shredded and they're covered in lipstick, so I guess they finally got what they wanted. Over the speaker, they say, "I am the great and mighty JoJo, and you cannot harm them." And it seems like the clowns really believe this. They stop and stare in silence and don't even notice the three walking away. This causes the head honcho of the clowns, JoJo the Clownzilla, to come out of the ceiling, and he instantly heads for the ice cream truck. Everybody runs away except for the Terenzi brothers because they say they can't abandon the rental. When JoJo gets to the truck, he immediately punches a hole through the clown head. I guess he was intimidated by the Hulk, JoJo the Great and Mighty. He then picks up the truck and throws it across the room, causing it to explode with the brothers inside. Mike tries to run to them, but it's too late and they have to go. Dave sees a way out and tells Mike to take Debbie while he draws away his attention. Debbie tries to say they can all go, but Dave tells her there's no time, they just need to go. So Mike and Debbie run out and Dave starts shooting JoJo. As soon as Mike and Debbie get out of the tent, we see it prepare for takeoff, as the ropes pull up and it starts entering the sky and spinning. JoJo finally gets his hand on Dave and picks him up. However, Dave gets one last-ditch effort and pulls his badge off and stabs JoJo's nose, which causes JoJo to explode too. The big boss exploding causes the whole ship to explode into bright fireworks. Mike and Debbie run up to the state troopers that finally arrive just in time, right? The clown car crash lands right in front of them. Out comes Dave and even the Terenzi brothers. They said they hid in the freezers with the ice cream, but I'm not really buying that. Debbie says, "Do you think it's over?" And Mike says, "Sure it is," before they are barraged with pies from the sky, leaving us to wonder if it really is over. And that's Killer Klowns from Outer Space. This is a true classic and has only become more iconic throughout the years. My favorite part of this movie is the creative ways the clowns kill people, especially the car scene. Obviously, the clowns are strong enough that it would be easy for them to kill everybody, but that's not good enough. They have to do it in clown fashion. While I don't think it's a perfect movie, I can't really say I have a least favorite part on this one. Overall, I give this movie a 4.5 stars out of 5. You really just can't compete with the level of practical effects in this movie. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on this movie, and I hope you'll give it a watch yourself too. If you have any movies you'd like to see me review, comment down below and I'll give it a look-see. Also comment and tell me what your favorite part of the video was. Also, if you care to see how I rated other movies, follow me on Letterboxd, where I review all movies I watch, not just their ones for videos. I want to thank everybody again for all the support on my videos so far. This channel is nothing without the support from you guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I hope you'll tune in again.